York City at www.wpat930am.com. Listen. Happy holidays, everyone, from all of us here at AM 930 WPAT.
Wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The following program is presented by its producer, host, and sponsors.
Yes, folks, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Teddy Smith and Mr. Bob O'Brien right here, WPAT, New York City. We're playing your favorite hits of all time, and I mean your favorite hits. And here he is, Mr. Todd Rundgren from 1972. Todd Rundgren is doing the honors here at WPAT. Yes, I saw the light. Here he is, Todd. saw the light. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of us and all of you from WPAT. And without further delay, recording artist, one wonderful musician who's been in music most of his life and has some of these great hits. After all of these great years, I'd like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, at WPAT Radio with Teddy Smith and Bob O'Brien, Mr. Todd Rundgren. Mr. Todd Rundgren. Good evening.
Everybody.
Yes, Mr. Todd Rundgren, it's a pleasure to have you here tonight, and we're here live, and there's no edits on the show, so it should be a lot of fun, this interview. And,
okay. We'll keep it clean.
That's all right. We'll do our best, of course.
Yeah.
Now, I understand you have a camp in the Catskills. Is that right, that you have each year?
Well, there has been, not this past year, but this past year, come to think of it, previous 2 years. It all goes by so quickly, of course, but there's a resort in the Catskills called the Full Moon, and they've been doing, in the summertime, these music camps, and when I first heard about it, Weasel Zappa was doing it, and a couple of other musical acts. And so they thought I had the kind of audience that might enjoy that. So the past 2 summers we've been showing up in the Catskills, and for a week of communing with nature and of fellowship and drinking and music and such. So we're not doing it next year because next year we're doing what we call a Todd Stock, which is an event that started on my 50th birthday. We didn't actually call it Todd Stock, but we had a big party out here on the island on my 50th birthday, and then we did it again on my 60th birthday and kind of had an open invitation for anyone who could make it here. So about 250 people from all over the world came here for a week of frolicking, and a lot of people, wanted to do it again, particularly because they didn't think, perhaps they felt either I or they wouldn't make it to my 70th birthday. So they decided they wanted me to do these when I turned 65. So next June we're going to a plantation outside of New Orleans.
Sounds like a fantastic thing. Will Ringo Starr be there with you?
No, he won't. I don't believe he'll be showing up there, but that's because he splits his time between Los Angeles and Surrey in England, and ironically enough, it's because his wife likes it in England and he likes it in L.A.
What was it like playing with Ringo on that last tour that you did?
It was great. It's always great to play with Ringo and great to play that material, but, he put together a really good band this time, not just from the standpoint of the musicianship, but everybody really kind of got along with each other in a way that I think he always envisioned the band would. But when you kind of put a band together from diverse individuals from different, musical backgrounds, and you don't give them a psychological evaluation first, then you never know what's going to happen when you put everybody together. It just worked out really well this time.
Anything you'd like to tell us about your experiences working with Richard Page, or anything about something with anything about your 40th year anniversary coming up?
Well, Richard stands next to me in the Ringo show, so that's about, a nightly thing. He and I, we sometimes share the mic together, a la Beatles, a la McCartney and Harrison, and even on one song, he goes to the acoustic guitar, so I actually get to play bass on one song. So it's a lot of fun. Sorry, what was part B? What was part B?
Well, part B was probably going back to your camp for a moment, like having the Rolling Stones be part of your camp in the 1970s. I mean, that would be anything going on in terms of anything else you'd like to tell us about your wonderful camp, or any experiences that may arise with that camp?
Well, if you go to toddstore.com, I believe there's a site that's set up for the camp, with some descriptive information about what we hope to usually a gender-driven event. It's just a chance to get together and party for a week.
Sounds like fun. It's a great.
Yeah, anyone interested in that, go to toddstore.com, and there'll be a link there to to all the info.
Now, if you're just joining us, it's Teddy Smith here with Bob O'Brien, with Mr. Todd Rundgren. We just played, by the way, Hello, It's Me from 1972, and I Saw the Light. And of all the great songs and great hits that you've done, any one particular one that you'd like to share with us, or an experience from those days back in the early 1970s?
The early 70s. Well, it's quite a ways back there now. I've been doing this for 45 years or so, and been through so many changes. I mean, even the change between Something Anything and the album that came after it, A Wizard, A True Star, was pretty radical. Yeah, it's been great. The biggest difference, I guess, from the early days is right after I recorded Something Anything, I started to build my own studio, and ever since I've always had my own studio, and it's characterized a lot of the music that I make. So it was a great time for me.
And you have a piece in the Rolling Stones coming out soon, I believe, about some of all your great albums. Is that coming out soon, or something you'd like to tell us about?
Well, actually, I believe it's out on the... somebody gave me the magazine indeed the other day, and I have it in front of me. It's the December 20th to January 3rd issue. It's got Tupac on the cover. But essentially, my fans, in celebration of... I can't remember whether it's the 40th anniversary or something like that of Something Anything, got together and bought like a half a page in Rolling Stone magazine just to commemorate it, and all the people who contributed got their names in the ad, and it's just a real nice gesture that something only my fans would do.
Now, speaking of Meatloaf for a moment, going back in time, maybe it's not so far back in time. I think time is of the essence. Actually, I sort of feel like I'm in the present moment as we speak. But nevertheless, Bat Out of Hell, you produced that album, one of the biggest selling albums of all time. What is your relationship with Meatloaf, and anything you'd like to tell us, or a memory about that experience?
Well, it's a famously... it's a fairly well-known saga, the whole thing of getting Meatloaf recorded, but more importantly,